All right, what's up, my friends? Welcome to episode 33 of Bronze Mythic. This is the wrap up, the post mortem, the wind down, the whatever it is, where I go over my entire run, and this was the worst run I have ever had on a Bronze Mythic. It took us 33 hours played and 30 something drafts. 30, what does it get? 5, 10. 15, 20, 25, 30, 32 drafts to make it to Mythic. My worst run by 8, I think, or 37 by 7. For reference, Kaldheim, I made it in 17 drafts. Strixhaven was my worst ever before this, and I was 25 drafts, I think. So, an absolutely heinous run. Let's take a look at it here. Started out pretty well, actually. We had 2 7-0s in a row to go right from bronze to gold, which is pretty awesome. Then we had a 4-3 and a 7-2. We bounced around a little bit. The real killer in this one was I don't feel like I bombed super hard. Although we'll get to that a little bit. I did bomb a little bit. We had a lot of 3-3 drafts. 3-3, 6-3, 3-3, 3-3, 2-3, 2-3, 6-3, 3-3, 7-1, 3-3, 7-2, 2-3. Just a lot of treading water. It felt like it was like a pretty volatile format. Or obviously a lot of rares in the format, which is like the common complaint about it. But games felt a little swingy here and there for sure. I don't know. And then we had this. Unfortunately, we had this day where I got my COVID booster shot and tried to get it all in on the last day of the season, and I did not have a very good day. 2-3, 7-0, and then our actual bombs here at 0-3 and an 0-3, which is just absolutely devastating. And had to just reset and do it after the season reset. I played on vacation for a bit to get back to where we were, back up to Diamond 3 or 4 or whatever this was. And we got back on track, and that was recently here. And more 3-3s, an 0-3, a 1-3, some rough ones here. But we finished off pretty strong here today. We went 7-2, 3-3, 4-3, 7-1, and then our final draft in Mythic was 5-3. So look back at our deck so you can see the whole run. Of course, this is all on untapped.gg. Please use my my download link to download it because I get credit for it. If you play Arena and you don't have Untapped, you're messing up. It tracks everything for you. Draftsmith's insane. Just check it all out. But we can see here. So green white was my my most played deck, not my most winning deck. Boros was actually. It's funny because I played so many drafts. We should have like more accurate stats here. Obviously, my overall win rate still wasn't like devastatingly bad, but it was still like pretty ugly. Green white Boros did pretty good for us. We were 3 colors a couple times. It was not good. It's funny. Our 4-0, our 7-0 was a 4-color deck, which is a little weird. But yeah, so our multicolor decks did not do super well. All the color pairs here are represented except for we were never blue-green, unfortunately, which I really wanted to do. And we were never black-green, like straight black-green. We were Sultai once. So blue-green and green-black, which are both not necessarily great pairs, too. Yeah, Zorius was really good for us, too. That was like early on. I don't remember being a Zorius in a long time. So that was the overall stats for us. Matchups, you can see. We're going to go through all of them. That's actually pretty funny. So you can see our matchups against decks. We were really good against green-white, really good against blue-white. We lost a lot to... We lost to mono-red. Actually, it's only one small sample sizes, but it's pretty funny. But there's your win rates and stuff like that. We can go down here and just briefly go over all of the decks. Of course, the deck will be on the left. First 2 decks, we had a blue-white deck, which was really good. Our first deck was Catilda, Triple Traveling Minister, just like insanely good deck. We were playing Fear of Death. We didn't learn yet. This was like on the first day of the format. So didn't know any cards, even did. So Catilda was insane. Next draft was Boros, little aggro deck here. Another Catilda, insanely good card. Faithbound Judge, Odric, a lot of rares. But, it's our first few drafts. Then we had a little exploit deck. Which honestly, looking at this deck, I was surprised the deck went 4-3. Double Biolume Egg, double Dissenter, Dream Shacklegeist, Bleed Dry, Dollhouse of Horrors, Dreadfast Demon. This deck looks like it's like a real winner. A real winner. Only went 4-3. And that was the thing. We had a lot of games where we just like... I was just like, or drafts where I was like, all right, I guess we just lost. I don't know what happened. You know, like I don't really know what I did wrong, kind of thing. But moving on to green white, went 7-2 with a pretty good beatdown deck. We had a lot of massive mites in this deck. We were triple Dawnheart Disciple. This was a super human-y deck. We never really had this deck again, but it was really really good here. We had some crappy cards here too, but then we were red black. Not a very good deck here. End of festivities, Mind Leech, cool, whatever. Black white, we had a black white deck, a little life gain stuff. We had Voice the Blessed, double Minister. This deck also looked really good. Double Bleed Dry, 4 Heron of Hopes, 2 Traveling Ministers. Again, Voice the Blessed, Savior of Allenbeck. Only went 6-3, but looked pretty good. Later Back Meowder. Then we had Gruul for a 3-3. Wolf Rider, double Ridge Wolf, Axong Pup, 4 Sporeback Wolf. I don't know what happened to this one. This thing looks pretty good. I guess like the middle of the curve's a little thin, but double Massive Might looks good. I don't know. Then we had a green-white deck with the card art being the green-black card. It's kind of weird. Massive Might, Infantry, Retribution, Trainee. This deck didn't look too good. Retribution's pretty bad in these green-white decks. Spore Crawlers, Heron of Hope, a lot of Mariners. Not a lot of synergy here. Invitation only, experts, all kind of fine, but like kind of wolves, kind of this, kind of that. It's like a really mishmashy deck. Moving on to a Boros deck where we had Uprising, which is great, but not really great deck. I get some bears, some flame brews. We were trying to try out the red spelly cards, which I came to like a lot in this format, like Flame Breather, Reckless Impulse. But they don't play super well with Drogskull Infantry and Panic Bystander. So kind of a confused deck here. Kind of confused with the white aggro cards with the red spelly cards. It wasn't a very good combination. Even though I had some good cards here. Kind of surprised the deck didn't do better, honestly. It just has Welcoming Vampire and Uprising and a decent curve. But then we went on to a Naya deck. Manaform Hellkite, Child of the Pack. Just splashing white for a couple cards here. Retribution Confinement. Okay looking deck. Double Weaver of Blossoms. Went 2-3. Also looks kind of fine. Dallas of Horrors, Child of the Pack. I don't know. I don't know why a lot of these decks failed. Like they didn't necessarily look great, but they didn't look terrible either. Moved on to a green-white deck. This deck was pretty sweet. We had Infantry, Thalia, Triple Disciple. This human deck. We also had the Crusher or the Oddity, Quartermaster. Pretty good deck. 6-3, pretty good deck. Another human deck right after it with Savior, Hamlet Vanguard, double Late Dress, which is not very good. Another Oddity again. But Late Dress is pretty bad for us in this. Card looks pretty cool, but just wasn't very good overall, honestly. Retribution not great either. A lot of trading cards just weren't very good in general. Then we had a blue-white deck. 7-1, looked pretty good. Kind of like, I remember drafting this deck and being like, this deck's only okay. But it just played really well. We had like a good amount of the Disturb cards. Also, we had Thirst Discovery, Brine Comer. We'd have a Wrath in Invitation Only, which is pretty good. Skywarp Scab. Deck just played really well. Just went 7-1. We were surprised with this one for sure. Then we were Rakdos, double Flame Blast Bolt, Bloodseeker, Harvester. This deck looks pretty good. Lacerate Flesh, Grizzly Ritual, not super awesome, obviously. Kind of lacking a way to win the game, like a big, nice threat. Looks like a deck that would be good with a bomb or two, but not great otherwise. 7-2 with Boros aggro, 4 Flame Blessed Bolts. Pretty awesome deck here. Welcoming Vampire, Rending Flame, Quartermaster. A little more spell-based, as I was saying earlier. 2 Frenzied Devils. Impulse, Flame Breather. Obviously, 4 Flame Breast Bolts, pretty good. So that one got 7 wins. We had a blue-red deck here. Again, trying to do more of this blue-red spells thing. We had Rending Flame, 4 Cruel Witnesses, a Braid, removal spells. That looks pretty good, honestly. Double Rejection, triple Throng with Diver Scab. Pretty surprised the deck went 2-3. Honestly, this deck looks pretty good. Alluring Suitor, Thirst for Discovery. But again, that was kind of the theme of this entire format, was me just not really understanding why decks weren't doing well. Again, I was also like playing sick a lot, not playing super well. But we had a black-white deck, triple Infantry, Imprisonment, 2 Bats. My only bat deck. More Invitation Onlys. Deck seemed fine. Kind of surprised this deck only went 4-3. Looked pretty good. We had a 7-0 with this 4-color masterpiece here. Cemetery Protector, Sigardian Paladin, Millipede, Olivia's Attendants, obviously a big bomb, Splashing Thirst, Double Weaver of Blossoms, just like a double Taxidermist, just kind of a crazy deck. Went 7-0. A little surprised at that result also. They made an 0-3, a fat 0-3 with a Naya deck that was pretty bad. We had Sigardian Paladin and the Wolf. Wait, where is it? Hellpack Piper's pretty sweet, but just like bad mana, just pretty ugly looking deck, just kind of cards. Sultai deck, which is pretty sweet. We had Dolls of Horrors, Millipede, Butler, Taxidermist, kind of a cool deck. I think his deck was a little. We had three Bleed Dries too. I don't know what happened here. It's got removal spells. Curve's a little clunky for sure, but a fat 0-3. This was where I remember like tilting off the most. This was a mono green deck. So we go into this draft effectively mono green. We splash red for Child of the Pack, and that was it. And our deck was just like 3 Spore Caller, 3 Weaver of Blossoms, 4 Sporeback Wolf, Massive Might, 2 Dormant Groves, Mariner, 2 a Hunter, Bramble Worm, 2 Outcast, and it was just so clunky, and our opponent just ran us over. And a gross draft. A lot of good cards, but not really a great curve, and then not a lot of removal to kind of like clean things up if we fell behind. Really important to have kill spells in this format. Without removal spells, like if you fall behind, you're done. The game it's just over. You never catch back up. So followed it up with a pretty sweet blue-red deck. This is Whispering Wizard, Tormented Prophet. This part's been really, really good for us. Double Rending Flame. This was kind of the spell deck I was looking for. We had Flame Breather, Reckless Impulse, Low Curve, Lantern Bearer, Ancestral Anger. Never got the Ancestral Anger Drake deck that I wanted, but Rending Flame, Prophet's great. Wizard was really good. Dollhouse wasn't very good in this deck, but it was still good. That was a nice trophy deck. And we had our crappy Grixis deck, which would have been good if it had a bomb, but had no bombs, and ended up being 3-3. We had an Olivia deck. Nice trophy with Olivia Crimson Bride. This deck just kind of like fell together. Just like first picked Olivia, second picked a Blood Tithe Harvester. Just easy draft. Then we had an 0-3 with a Grixis deck that like was pretty freaking bad. We were Rakdos going into pack 3, but not that red. And I opened up a Hullbreaker Horror. We tried to just play it because we were already kind of splashing red anyway. It didn't work. Then we were Gruul, and not a very good deck. We were just short playables this draft. We waffled on colors a lot and ended up having to play a card like never play Lightning Wolf in your deck ever. Never play Blood Servant in your deck ever. Just deck was just really bad. We had a black-white deck with Faithbound Judge and Blood Vial Purveyor. We lost some pretty busted decks of his deck. His deck was actually pretty good. Then we had a nice trophy today with a Dimir deck, which honestly, it was pretty good. We had all the pieces you really, really want. We had the Throng and the Scrab and the Desperate Farmers. The Headless Rider was great. Mimic was pretty good. We had no removal, though, except for the one Skywarp Scab. I'm sorry, the Diver Scab. So this deck was like a little sketchy, but it had 4 Lantern Bearers, and Lantern Bearer is the absolute nut. Best blue common for sure. Just a phenomenal card. It looks so innocent, but the more you add to your deck, the better your deck gets by so much. So that card was great. This deck was my biggest regret in this format. This deck looks so good to me, and I cannot believe we didn't do better with it. We had 5 Flame Breathers. 5. 2 Reckless Impulses. 3 Invitations for cantrips. 2 Angers for cantrips. A Bolt and a Braid. Rending Flame. We had Tormented Prophet, Wandering Mind. Every card in our deck cost 3 or less, except for the one Lacerate Flesh. Our curve was insane. Honeymoon Hearse is good in this deck. Blinding with Binding Geist or whatever. Curve was super low, and I don't know what happened. I think I blocked it out of my memory. The deck looks so good. I'm so sad it went 3-3. I think the red spells cards are very good. Then we had a 4-3 with a pretty mediocre Boros deck. No removal, just like bad tricks and creatures. We had a great Gruul deck here, which you just saw if you've been watching. Great Gruul deck. Really feels like the important cards of this format are the uncommons and the rares. Voltaic Visionary, Alluring Suitor, Rending Flame. Cadet's okay, but Wolfkin Outcast, Brambleworm. Just the raw power of the rares and uncommons is just so important. And this deck was great. It was super great. And then our last deck, which was in Mythic after one game, So all the matches are played in Mythic. Pretty good deck. Pretty good deck. Would have preferred to have like a harder removal spell over one of these Wolf Strikes, maybe like a Circle or whatever. But Priest of Guardian Paladin's pretty good. Paxsong Pup was great. Cool little cross synergy with that. And that was it. That was the whole series. So that's Bronze to Mythic for me for Crimson Vow. Didn't really love this format. Pretty swingy. A lot of bomb rares. Common complaint. I feel like I never really got it super well. I'm not really sure why for so many drafts. But I don't know. It just didn't really jive super well with me. I felt like a lot of the games I was just like, I don't know what's happening. I'm just losing. You know, like I'm just getting curved out on or dying to rares or whatever. But that's the format. So, yeah, nice little break here until Kamigawa and Neon Dynasty, where Bronze Mythic will return. Also, my scheduling for this series was really, really bad. I got stuck before vacation, and then made Christmas and the holidays and Cute for Charity. I did a lot of drafting on the last day, which is the worst possible thing you can do. So on the last day, everyone's super try-harding. People are dropping drafts when their deck isn't good. And it's just not a really good environment to be playing on the last day, so it didn't really help either. So I'm going to play things out better in the future. I would like to be Mythic in the first week of the format. Like, start on day one and just do 2 or 3 days in a row and just kind of get it done with. Usually it takes me about 24 hours of gameplay. This was 33, obviously. But also it's fun to be playing the format early on and learning it with everyone else. Playing when, people have been drafting for a month and a half is kind of whatever. So that's the format. Again, episode 33, Bronze Mythic. Hit the follow button, comment, subscribe to all the stuff. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And you're all great. I love you all. Thanks, YouTube. Appreciate it.